day, September 28th, from Ho Chi Minh City. Of course, the big news this week was the Federal Reserve meeting, which everybody expected rates to go up, which they have. The maybe less expected comments from the chairman, Powell, was that the Fed would raise potentially interest rates 3 times in 2019, providing economic conditions stay firm. So I think this is a bit of a surprise to me. I don't remember the Fed calling so much farther in time and a raise in interest rates. Usually it's 3-6 months down the road, but now they're calling for a year, over a year actually. So we looked at bank stock this week around the world, and interestingly, bank stocks have not done very well overall. In fact, they're mostly down. Deutsche Bank is down 35%, Commerzbank is down around 20%. Most European banks have underperformed other banks in the world, even though they're trading at price to book value and PEs that are seem very cheap. American banks and North American banks in general have not done that well either, except for JP Morgan, which is up about 8%. In Asia, I would say it's mixed bag. Japanese banks, even though they are sort of cheap on a price to book value, have not done that great either. But the sweet spot is Vietnam, where banks have done very well. Some banks' prices are up 30%, 20% year to date. We think that even though they seem quite expensive on a price to book or P ratios, these banks have so much room to grow their earnings that it's possible that investors are looking at them from the point of view of a PEG ratio versus a PE ratio or a price to book ratio. So we recommend some banks. We will see that in our strategy report in October in a few days. On other news, I mean, obviously central banks have been raising interest rates pretty much across the globe. The Philippines and Indonesia this week raised rates, what indicates that obviously at some point in time, which the timing is very difficult to target, liquidity is being removed from markets and it will affect equities globally. We don't think it's before the end of 2018, although, but it's going to be probably the story for 2019. So until this liquidity is retrieved from the markets, equities can still go up, and that's usually the case. So that when bond yields go up, equities can still go up, and this is what we've been observing right now for the last 8 to 10 months. In terms of bond yields, we've seen that the mortgage rates in the US have gone up to the highest level since 2011. So what that does is basically make affordability a bit more difficult for most households that have borrowed money from banks to pay their mortgage. In that sense, we think that the mortgage market in the US is probably toppish. From that on, our view is that the equities are still a good buy till the end of the year. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week from Ho Chi Minh City. Bye.